Welcome to the news. It is Wednesday night, so you're due for another hour and a half of the main reports from NTA News Top to Bottom. In the course of this bulletin, we'll be in different parts of the country, tracking the Nigerian story while presenting different perspectives to key issues confronting the nation. Tonight, Southeast Vision 2050 Forum opens in Enugu. Vice President Shatima describes the region as a catalyst for industrial growth and development.
It's a central pillar of Nigeria's economic future. What we are doing here today is not an exercise in rediscovering potential.
On electricity distribution, federal government insists free meter initiative will ensure energy access to Nigerians.
Government has taken responsibility to borrow money, then work with the World Bank, procure these meters. And now say that these goods, I don't want you to charge my people for this meter. Go and distribute this meter freely.
And on health, the world observes World Cancer Day. Issues of access to diagnostic centers, treatment facility, and specialist care resonate in Nigeria. On entertainment, correspondent explores Fela's lasting legacy as Abamieda continues to influence the new generation of African talent decades after his demise.
Music is a spiritual thing. You don't play with music. If you play with music, you will die young.
Also tonight, Benny Adams, our business bit, has been tracking new investments coming into the country, while Badi Adeleye is a man on the sport for sports. It's an eclectic package tonight. But as we say on this shift, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. I'm Henry John. This is News Extra. Welcome. Let's set sail tonight as the Southeast region is positioned to be the leading platform for economic investment and trade in Nigeria through institutional development and coordinated action. These were the views of stakeholders at a 4-day Southeast Forum entitled Southeast Vision 2050. Chika Ugu reports that the Vice President, Kashim Shatima, declared the forum open.
The Southeast Vision 2050 was conceived by the federal government and the Southeast Development Commission to address the challenges of underutilization of the huge economic potentials inherent in the region. The Vice President at the opening assured that the development of the Southeast is part of the administration's agenda of sustainable growth.
The Southeast matters deeply to this administration, but it's a central pillar of Nigeria's economic future. What we are doing here today is not an exercise in rediscovering potential. That potential is already evident.
The Southeast Vision is a deliberate intervention which goes beyond producing impressive plan, but also aimed at yielding impact in the region. The theme, charting a shared path to sustainable prosperity for the Southeast, speaks directly to the aspirations of the people.
The establishment of the SCDC represents both recognition of the region's unique infrastructure challenges and confidence in the power of institutions to drive long-term transformation.
Governors in the region who promised to uphold collaboration over competition restated their commitment to regional feasibility work, human resource development, and public and private sector partnership for a progressive region.
It's a strategic signal that development must be territorially inclusive and economically rational.
It's no longer about the glory of individual states and communities, but the destiny of the collective. That after a long run of missed opportunities, we are now turning our attention to the untapped potential.
Ministers, legislators, members of the public and private sector promised their unalloyed cooperation to ensure the fruitful implementation of the vision. In Enugu, Chika Ugu, NTA News.
And away from the Southeast now, INEC is seeking the support of civil society organizations and the media for credible polls. This was at separate meetings with members of civil society and media organizations at the first quarterly consultative meeting for 2026.
The first quarterly consultative meeting of 2026 with civil society organizations. Discussions focused on preparations for the FCT area council polls, Ekiti and Osun governorship elections, and the 2027 general election. Other key areas of focus are continuous voter registration, collection of PVCs by eligible voters in the FCT, political parties registration, and by-elections in some state constituencies. In all, INEC is seeking the support of the civil society organizations in urging the National Assembly to finalize all processes towards the amendment of the Electoral Act to enable the Commission release timetable for the 2027 general election.
We have concern for the 2027 election and what needs to be done.
As we look towards the 2027 election, it is imperative that we remain vigilant and proactive. We must prepare for a seamless electoral process that embodies the ideals of democracy, justice, and inclusivity.
A similar consultative meeting was also held with representatives of media organizations.
Let me remind you that the strongest electoral system can be undermined by misinformation. We therefore urge you to promote accurate reporting at all times.
It is our hope and prayer we will continue to work in line with the ethics of our profession. And I want to use this opportunity as well to always sensitize and appeal to our members. Let's prioritize issues of national security and national interest in all our reportage.
The last consultative meeting like this with stakeholders last held in the last quarter of 2025 before the November 2025 Anambra State off-cycle governorship election. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
Meanwhile, NNPC Limited is deliberate in deepening transparency with partners without setting boundaries. Group Chief Executive Officer, NNPC Limited, Bashir Bayo Ojulari, during a chat at the Nigeria International Energy Summit, noted this as critical to building sustainability beyond unsustainable quick wins. Lydia Sampson was there.
For the NNPC Limited GCEO, the company remains a flagship organization for Nigeria. He, however, acknowledged that due to political pressure over time, NNPC Limited had operational challenges. To change this narrative, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu took the bold step of injecting private sector professionals that signaled the transformative journey the company is currently witnessing.
The actual transformation is with the people, the processes and the systems that we have put in place. And what we are doing now is now pulling together that new experience, leveraging the internal knowledge in the system, and beginning to reposition ourselves.
He opened up on the state of refineries and what has been done to reposition the facilities for a win-win.
The first decisions I had to make was to stop the rot by ensuring that we stop and, first of all, calibrate quickly, rebase, to see what do we do. You wonder how we're losing money. We were pumping a cargo every month into the refineries. We're spending a lot of money in the operations, a lot of money on the contractors. But if you then look at the net, we're just leaking away a lot of value.
Ojulari emphasized that though production remains fragile, NNPC Limited is focused on not basking in temporary wins, but staying alert. Coming from a private sector, the fire chat with Bashir Bayo Ojulari, the Group Chief Executive Officer of NNPC, was genuinely electrifying, with revelations upon revelations, and for many years, he was simply speaking point blank. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
Many thanks, Lydia. Now, the victims, mostly children who recently escaped during an attack on worshippers in Kurmi Wali, are currently receiving psychological care at the Kaduna Children's Shelter. Mohammed Umar Ajingi reports that the Kaduna State Governor has visited the shelter to meet with the 82 escaped victims to assess their recovery and well-being. The report is here. Studios.
Ago, bandits stormed 3 churches in Kurmiwali village, adopting scores of people. Since then, their families have been thrown into confusion over the whereabouts of their loved ones. Days later, reports emerged that some of the victims escaped during the attack and hid in neighboring villages before eventually returning home. About 82 of the victims, mostly children, were taken into a shelter where they received support before being reunited with their families. The governor of the state assured them of necessary support to ensure they recover from the trauma.
We are all here undergoing psychosocial therapy, and we are trying to ensure that our medical doctors check them very well. And of course, we know that they've gone through a lot of trauma, and of course, it is a very difficult situation. And as a government, it's our responsibility to ensure that all of them are certified medically fit. And of course, some of them have had some very minor injuries, as you can see. But I'm happy that they are all recovering.
He says the state government is working closely with security agencies to ensure the safe return of others.
Away from Kaduna State, the people of Masari have called on Governor Francis Nwifuru to reconsider the sanctions imposed on their community and withdraw security agents who they allege have halted activities in the community. Samuel Okwo, who visited the community on a fact-finding mission, reports that Masari is currently deserted by the male folk for fear of arrest by security agents.
Amasiri, a community prominent for farming, has recently been on the news for allegedly attacking Okporojo community in Inoso Eda, where 5 people were beheaded with several others allegedly abducted and property destroyed. The incident led to the sacking of all government appointees from the area, dissolution of village heads, traditional rulers and management committee members, as well as closure of schools with a dusk to dawn curfew. The community is currently deserted and the women abandoned. The only men that could be sighted in the area as at the time the NTA crew visited were non-indigens from other parts of the country whose businesses are currently stalled because of the situation.
At least for the interest of our youth that they are chasing up and down. Many of them are inside forest. Many of them are, in fact, some of them are arrested. Even one elderly woman was injured, which is not supposed to be so to us because we are the citizens of Nigeria.
The community, we are people, Northern one are in the bush, running head and scatter. They have even taken away our Royal Highness and other notable leaders of the community to unknown place. I want the intervention of our president.
It took the extra effort of NTA News crew to trace the men to nearby communities where they are currently taking refuge and appealed to the government to rescind its decision.
Let's see other news now as the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, says institutional support is key in the reforms journey of the current administration. Satisfied with the testimonies from friends of Nigeria across the world on the reforms of the federal government, the minister urged institutions of government to boost their operations as key drivers of the renewed hope agenda. This was while receiving leadership of the Corporate Affairs Commission. Salihu Abdullahi Kwanara has the rest of the story.
Inflation generally is down. Our GDP is rising. Naira is stabilizing. Confidence in investors is returning. All this are clear indication that the journey that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has embarked upon together with all Nigerians to ensure prosperity for this country is indeed in the right direction.
These successes are the results of early government decision, which he wants to be sustained through more selfless services, as being demonstrated by the Corporate Affairs Commission.
The engagement of small-scale businesses like the POS operators, not just for purposes of getting taxes from them, but also for regulating them and for ensuring that you cannot use these financial outlets, to commit and perpetrate crime from around the country. It is really heartwarming to note that the CAC has ensured that these people are now being captured for their own good, not just because we want to catch criminals, but because we want to ensure that we have an organized economic system for our people.
Ongoing innovation in the CAC, particularly beneficial ownership register, is boosting investors' confidence.
The people behind any company must be disclosed. This is what is giving the investors confidence on the Nigerian registry. In fact, we have become a reference point on this.
As the commission turns 35 years, there were assurances of improved service delivery in the interest of Nigeria. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, NTA News.
Let's pause briefly. There's more news in a bit. Please stay with us. Glad to have you back. Nigeria's long walk toward accessible cancer care is taking a decisive step forward as the International Finance Corporation and the Nigeria Sovereign Investment Authority sealed a partnership designed to bring advanced diagnostic and life-saving oncology services closer to communities that have long been priced out or left behind. Musa Abubakar has the details.
For millions of Nigerians, specialized cancer care has often meant long journeys, high costs, and painful delays. But a new partnership is set to change that narrative. The International Finance Corporation and Nigerian Sovereign Investment Authority have joined forces to expand oncology and diagnostic services across Nigeria, delivering care where it is needed most.
I'm very proud to say that what started off as one oncology center in Lagos and 2 diagnostic centers in Kano and Umuahia, by the end of the second quarter of this year, will become 4 oncology centers and 15 diagnostic centers across the country.
Oncology centers, 3 of them I have been to, the commissioning, and is now expanding and building on. Is that momentum that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is putting in place for the economy broadly.
The program will establish diagnostic centers, radiotherapy-enabled cancer facilities, and cardiac laboratories across several states, equipped with cutting-edge technology to improve early detection and treatment outcomes.
IFC is supporting MedServ to scale diagnostic and treatment capacity across multiple states.
Medical tourism by half has gone down, but also others are really coming for medical tourism in Nigeria. Despite all what you may hear on the quality side, things are actually getting better.
Valued at $154 million, the project marks IFC's first healthcare investment in Nigeria. Beyond buildings and machines, the investment is creating impact. More than a dozen modern centers, 800 direct jobs, and specialized training for over 500 healthcare professionals. In Abuja, Musa Abubakar, NTA News.
And still on cancer care, the world is focusing on efforts to confront cancer, a disease that has touched almost every family in one way or the other. World Cancer Day is more than a date on the calendar. It is a global movement for awareness, prevention and solidarity of millions currently living with the disease. Basi Ita Ekman reports that in Nigeria, it was an opportunity for community and recommitment by government and partners for improved cancer care and prevention.
Beyond medical charts and hospital words, cancer carries deep social, emotional and economic consequences for patients and their loved ones.
The New Hope agenda of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu provides unique opportunities for cancer prevention and care in Nigeria. The Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration has prioritized health sector, and particularly cancer care, by making huge investment within the short time in office.
This year's theme, United by Unique, captures that shared human experience. Different journeys, one collective resolve.
Each patient has his own story to tell, a unique story to tell regarding this cancer. Each cancer in a particular patient is unique.
Regular screening and routine medical checkups are equally vital, as early detection not only saves lives, but also makes treatments more effective.
Nigeria, perhaps one of the very few countries in Africa that have up-to-date cancer control plan. So that is a plus for the country. However, an issue of data, we have some challenges there.
The key message experts say, is the power of prevention, early detection, simple lifestyle choices, avoiding tobacco, limiting alcohol intake, eating balanced diet that is full of vegetables and fruits, and above all, keeping physically active. Basi Taikbang, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the First Lady Oluremi Tinubu says Nigeria can build a stronger, more compassionate response to cancer by listening to individual stories and placing people at the center of care, rooted in prevention, early detection, access to quality treatment, and sustained support. This is in her message marking World Cancer Day 2026 with the theme United by Unique, reminding Nigerians that every cancer journey is different. The First Lady expresses hope that by uniting voices and actions, the country can move closer to a cancer-free future for all. And now to talk more on cancer and what Nigeria is doing, we have Professor Usman Malami Aliyu, the DG and CEO, National Institute for Cancer Research and Treatment. Many thanks for joining us, Prof.
Thank you for having me.
All right, talking about cancer, we seem to be having increased number of cancer cases even among children. What's responsible? Is it type of food being consumed, lifestyle? What exactly is the problem?
Also, thank you very much for the question. The actually increase in cancer could be actually multifactorial. If we can look at it from the two angles. One, it could be an increase due to change in the social habits, the way we live our own lifestyle, you know. Things are actually changing. We are imbibing the Western way, you know, of lifestyle as against what we were used to, you know, culturally. Now, if you look at our lifestyle currently, we have more people smoking cigarette, ingesting alcohol, more people taking in alcohol. Sedentary life is much prevalent now than an active life, as against what the active life that has been used to be the predominant way of lifestyle, you know, in the past. The way we eat too matters, you know. People currently imbibe like taking a lot of fatty diets, taking a lot of red meats, and actually so on and so forth. Buying food from maybe the KFCs as against, you know, eating healthy, taking a lot of vegetables and so on and so forth. So if you look at it from that angle, the changing in the lifestyle of an individual or the Nigerians or the Africans as against what we are used to, you know, from what we inherited from our forefathers, that actually contributed a lot to the development of these cancers that we are actually seeing. If you look at it, okay.
All right, you say lifestyle is responsible. Of course, the world is changing and people are also adjusting. But in terms of screening, where are we, you know, in that regard, in terms of diagnostic centers and, you know, screening centers, just to make sure that people can know their status on time?
All right. So, you know, I've mentioned just only one part. The second part, the increase could be due to the increase, you know, screening services, increased awareness of cancer that we have in the communities. So that means now when people are more aware about cancer, they will tend to present, you know, more to healthcare facilities, seeking care or seeking one or two things in the country. So if you have more screening facilities, more screening centers in the country and programs that are ongoing, then you have to prepare, because definitely the numbers that you are used to having is going to shoot up, and you have to make preparation. So it's an interplay of these two factors that I'm mentioning. Now today, if I don't know whether you you watch our program, you know, in the afternoon, the Honorable Minister for Health and Social Welfare has launched screening centers, you know, in the country. The federal government, the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare has, through the NICRAD, has established 8 cancer screening centers within...
Bringing the total to how many in the country?
Well, currently that is what we know. You know, initially, you know, in the past, we don't used to have screening centers or what we call the preventive oncology clinic situated within the hospitals. You know, we have them in some private hospitals and some, you know, pockets of screening programs that are being carried out by NGO, but to have a dedicated preventive oncology center, actually it has never happened in the history of this country. This is the first time that we are having a full complement of cancer screening centers in the country. So the Honorable Minister launched 8 screening centers virtually in the country. Now we have that are well distributed in 6 geopolitical zones. He launched the one in Jabi, and if you have watched the launching, you can see that we have a mammography machine, we have an ultrasound, a colposcopy machine, and so on and so forth. So this preventive oncology clinic were meant to actually serve the people who are seeking information about cancer, guidance, you know, they can be guided often. And from there, if they want to be screened, they can also have the potential to be screened, whether male or female in the country. This is the first time it's happening, and we have to commend the Renew Hope agenda of Mr. President, that is His Excellency Ahmed Bola Tinubu, for bringing these services closer to the home of Nigeria.
All right, fantastic, Professor Aliyu. Because of time, we need to round off this conversation. Let's talk about research, you know, which your institute is supposed to handle, and of course, it's fundamental for diagnosis and treatment. Are we doing anything in that regard?
Research?
Yes.
Well, of course, we've been doing so much, you know, in the area of research. The institute, since inception, has been collaborating with local and international partners to actually bring out new modalities through which we can improve the kind of care we give to our patients. And this cut across from research in the area of cancer prevention, in the area of diagnosis, in the area of cancer treatment. We have a series of research ongoing. One that always stands out is what we call the cancer genome sequencing, and that what we are currently doing is to actually identify those cancers that drive those genes within a patient that drive the common cancers that we are currently seeing in the country. And you know, the 5 common cancers in the country are breast, you know, prostate, cervix, colon, non-Hodgkin's lymphomas, and even liver, depending on the site. So these common cancers, we are targeting to actually take some samples from the patients within the 6 geopolitical zones and identify the defective genes and the drivers of cancer in these 5 common cancers within the country.
All right. In other words, your institute is doing the needful to ensure that there's enough research, as far as cancer is concerned, just so that we can bring care closer to the people. Many thanks, Professor Usman Malami Aliyu, DG and CEO, National Institute for Cancer Research and Treatment, for joining us on News Extra. We hope to have you some other time, and of course, we want to hear the success stories from your institute.
Thank you for having me.
All right. So now let's See other news, but still on cancer. The Defense and Police Officers' Wives Association and female police personnel today embarked on a road walk in Abuja to create more awareness on cancer prevention and early detection. The exercise forms part of activities marking the 2026 World Cancer Awareness Campaign. Francis Form will inform us.
Major streets of the Central Business District, Abuja, were busy as POWA joins in the World Cancer Awareness Campaign. Members of POWA and female police personnel sensitizing their fellow women on the gains of early detection and treatment of this fast-spreading and life-threatening ailment. After hours of work, they gathered at the POWA Secretariat, where medical experts delivered lectures on cancer awareness, symptoms, prevention and diagnosis, as wife of the IGP charged women to stay ahead of the disease through routine medical checks.
What we are trying to do is to get the women, screen them. After early detection, then we know that treatment will commence if there is any issue at all.
Meanwhile, the Defense and Police Officers' Wives Association, DPOA, and other Sister Security Wives Association also took the World Cancer Day beyond a symbolic calendar event, uniting members to demonstrate sisterhood, raise awareness, and amplify the call for action among policymakers and stakeholders.
We ask for a health system that recognizes the special circumstances of the military families.
The Walkathon underscores the POWA's commitment to the welfare of police families and the promotion of a healthy lifestyle among women and the wider society. Francis Form, NTA News.
Away from cancer now, but still on health, Nigerian nurses are renowned for their exceptional training and expertise. An edge they have that regards them as the most sought after amongst healthcare professionals globally. As the federal government strategizes to bridge existing gaps within the sector, development partners are also stepping in, donating valuable educational resources and equipment to the Nursing and Midwifery Council of Nigeria. But the question remains, will these efforts truly address the challenges facing the nursing profession? Sawa Khalil Ibrahim provides us with some of the answers.
When you talk about care, the nurses are at the forefront, the backbone of healthcare system. But this backbone has been on the brinks, largely due to inadequate manpower. However, government is not unaware of the challenges.
On behalf of the
and like it is often said, the apple does not fall far from the tree. And so, the Nursing and Midwifery Council is revolutionizing nursing profession in the country.
Today's event is not just a ceremony, it is a renewed commitment to the health and well-being of all Nigerians, including women, newborns, and families. The training items, documents, and electronic applications being launched today represent a critical investment in these objectives. They will enhance the quality of teaching and learning in our training institutions, support skills acquisition, and promote competency-based education for nurses and midwives across the country.
To continue supporting and continue to produce competent and competent nurses and midwives that will serve the country and also beyond.
And the Nigerian Nursing and Midwifery Council is aligning itself with global best practices with these publications and simulation equipment described as a symbol of commitment for a safer motherhood in Nigeria and expected to bring Nigeria closer to ending maternal mortality. In Abuja, Salwa Khalil Ibrahim, NTA News.
Many thanks. Away from health now, let's talk prizes. It was joy and excitement as another set of millionaires emerged from the ongoing Nivea Win Your Share of $3 billion. Consumer promotion with winners receiving their prizes. Emir Udori, who witnessed the prize presentation, reports that a fourth live draw was held at Nivea office in Ikeja, Lagos. Her report is here presented.
Become one of 10 millionaires weekly.
Nivea Win Your Share of 3 billion naira consumer promotion is designed to appreciate customers who have remained loyal to the brand. From markets to shopping malls, the promotion, which started in December 2025, has continued to connect the brand with consumers, reinforcing Nivea's commitment to care beyond the skin, quality and trust. The winners, who were selected electronically, described the reward as a pleasant surprise, transforming routine shopping into a glamorous winning experience and a reassurance that loyalty truly pays.
If you've been using the product for a while, it's always good to give back. I'm not sure they can even know how I feel now. I'm not sure my mouth can explain everything. I'm just happy, sir.
I'm so happy. In fact, I will also tell my friends more to use Nivea. I'm already into tailoring material accessories, so I'm going to use it to boost my business.
For Nivea, the national consumer promotion is part of its way of giving back to consumers while strengthening its bond with Nigerian families.
200 people have won 50K to shop on Jumia for Nivea products, so it's been very exciting. Just to say that the promotion is also regulated by the Lagos State Lottery Board. We also have representatives from the FCCPC.
Scratching your pins, and you never know.
Social media influencer and content creator Ami Odili anchored the fourth live raffle draws, which produced more winners in the two major categories.
Victor, you just won 1 million naira. I'm not joking.
According to organizers, every entry from the purchase made gets 1,000 naira instant airtime, while 10 millionaires will continue to emerge every week with many other prizes yet to be won.
56 persons from different parts of the country are currently participating in a residency program that will help to address leadership challenges and entrench transparency, integrity, and global best practices in leadership in Nigeria. The residency program has been facilitated by the Institute of Leadership and Management in Uromi, Eastern Northeast local government area of Edo State. Jude Abugo has details.
The 5-day Leadership and Management Residency is organized by the Institute of Leadership and Management, Uromi, as part of its contributions to societal development. The rector of the institute, Reverend Father Theophilus Itama, explained that the essence of the program is to create an enabling society where leaders are not just taught, but formed, tested, refined through engagement, accountability, and learned experience.
The institute opposes academic rigor, integrity, and measurable learning outcomes. This structure ensures that graduates meet both national expectations and global best practices in leadership education.
Keynote speaker, the Vice Chancellor, Edo University, Iyamo, Professor Victor Adetimiri, emphasized that quality leadership is critical to the growth and development of a nation. He encouraged the participants to be resilient, upright, and embrace transformations to curb bottlenecks in their various places of work.
Effective leadership involves carefully navigating complex situations, towing paths that build the organization.
There are things maybe you have not been able to fully address online. So we need for us to address it and get more knowledge.
Effective leadership, how to go about effective leadership to impact my community.
And as a leader, you must be ready to stand firm.
To use what I'm learning from here to be a better leader myself.
The Leadership and Management Residency Program kickstarted with a Holy Mass. In Benin, Jude Abugu, NTA News.
And from Benin, we head to Awka, and in a move to prepare Anambra youths for a more secure and productive future, Anambra State government has introduced 15 entrepreneurship-focused subjects into the junior secondary school curriculum, aimed at reducing youth unemployment after graduation. This is in addition to what the federal government is doing in areas of technical and vocational training. Chinyere Fesi Okoye reports.
The initiative is designed to equip students with practical real-life skills while nurturing an entrepreneurial mindset from an early age. The newly introduced subjects include solar installation, garment making, GSM repair, agriculture, plumbing, digital skills, robotics, and other vocational courses.
Entrepreneurial studies open the children's mind to a larger, a broader spectrum of knowledge. It equips them with the skills to be useful to their society. So we are creating whole human beings who will be interested in contributing to the development of their contemporary society and not the kind of citizens that wait for what their society will do for them.
School managers and students have described the development as a major milestone, as many schools have queued into the program already.
I would like to learn graphic designing because I have interest in it. Let's learn sewing and bakery.
Every Friday, first and second period, we engage students in different skills, and they're learning it faster. When they do it at a younger age in junior secondary school, they will master it at early stage.
In graphic design, we teach them the needed skills they can use to be doing something even while after school.
We are teaching them how to rear birds, poultry birds. So we have started this poultry bird for 1 week, and now we are in the brooding stage.
To thank the government for creating this kind of skill, empowering students in school.
The government is positioning its students towards becoming employers of labor rather than job seekers in future. In Oka, Chinyere Fesi Okoye, NTA News.
And as the 2026 Hajj approaches, bridging the digital gap is now a top priority for NACON, as of course Hajj is around the corner. With Saudi Arabia moving to a fully digital system, Tafawa Hamza Mayo reports on the Commission's strategy to support rural pilgrims who face poor network coverage and low digital literacy.
Executive Secretaries of Muslim Pilgrims Welfare Boards from Nigeria's 36 states and the FCT gathered in Abuja for a high-level strategy session with Saudi Arabia's Minister of Hajj and Umrah. The minister was unavoidably absent, but the session remained productive. Presided over by the NICON chairman, Professor Abdullah Saleh Usman, the meeting centered on aligning Nigeria with Saudi Arabia's Nusuk digital platform, a system now mandatory for all Hajj logistics. While the kingdom makes strides in digitalizing the Hajj experience, concerns remain for pilgrims in rural Nigeria who face low digital literacy and limited internet access.
According to the NICON instruction, we have gone far. Currently, the screening for the health screening is ongoing. Uploading of visa, we're almost done.
Most of the intending pilgrims know the new system that Saudi government introduced. But inshallah, we will call our ES to organize the crucial enlightenment.
With the digital clock ticking, NACON's proactive approach aims to turn technology challenges into simplified experience for the Nigerian faithful. In Abuja, Tafawa Hamza Mayo.
Let's see the news as President Bola Tinubu congratulates the Professor of African Religious Traditions, Chair of the Department of African and American Studies at Harvard University, USA, Jacob Kende Olupono, as he clocks 75 on February 5th. President Tinubu acknowledges Professor Olupono's contributions to the study of African traditional religions, culture, and sociology, whose prolific research and teachings at Harvard University served as a tool landscape, a reflection of the Nigerian spirit of resilience, brilliance, and global competitiveness. Similarly, the President felicitates with the Managing Director of Tantita Security Services and the Ibe Benemowe of Baramatu Kingdom, Engineer Kestin Ebimorobowe Ponde, on his birthday. President Tinubu applauds Pondi's leadership and contributions to economic growth, youth empowerment and peace building in the Niger Delta, which have earned him widespread respect and admiration. Another break is due, but there's more news on the other side. Please stay with us. Let's talk business. Benny Adams is here. Benny.
Here, now the federal government has signed a cooperation agreement with the International Finance Corporation, that is the IFC, a member of the World Bank Group, to enhance project preparation, mobilize private capital, and speed up the delivery of bankable infrastructure projects vital to Nigeria's economic transformation. At the signing ceremony, which took place in Abuja, Minister of Budget and Economic Planning Atiku Bagudu described the agreement as a strategic move towards ensuring Nigeria's extensive infrastructure needs are met with well-prepared investment-ready projects capable of attracting private capital. He also observed that Nigeria's experience with early mobile telephony investment, where initial investors struggled to envisage a market of 500,000 subscribers compared to today's digital economy of more than 100 million users, clearly demonstrates the country's vast adaptive capacity.
I believe this agreement will support our private sector, will support private-public partnership, will support some of the measures that have already been undertaken.
What does this agreement mean in practical terms? At its core, it strengthens project preparation. Together, we'll identify and structure high-impact, scalable projects across critical sectors. It builds a pipeline of bankable projects, the kind that unlock private capital and deliver infrastructure for inclusive growth.
And still talking new investments coming into the country, the Minister of State for Finance, Dr. Doris Anita, says government remains committed to collaborating with a private sector and multilateral institutions to deliver a resilient and prosperous economy for all Nigerians. This was as the minister met with the leadership of Afro-Exim Bank, Murphy, that is the Ministry of Finance Incorporated, the Park Capital Limited, with a view to streamlining the 1 trillion naira revolving standby line of credit for Ministry of Finance Incorporated, backed by the Afro-Exim Bank. This is in addition to accelerating the Nigerian Gas Infrastructure Fund project to power the nation's industries and homes. Resolutions from this meeting is also redefining the Made in Nigeria label through cash and kilowatts, and the goal is to move away from expensive fuels and use Nigeria's own natural gas to power everything from cement factories to kitchen stoves. Now a look at the market, talking about midweek trading across Africa's major hubs showed a resilient green trend today, talking about from Nigeria to South Africa and Tunisia. Despite a slight dip in the pace of activities in Lagos, investors' confidence remained high enough to push benchmarks upwards across the continent. This is as Nigerian exchange stayed in the green zone, finishing with a bullish lean as 56 stocks climbed compared to only 26 that slipped downwards. The Johannesburg Stock Exchange, that's the JSE Top 40, saw a steady demand of blue chip stocks, adding 345.21 basis points to the board as investors continue to find value in the continent's largest listed companies. The Tunisia Tune Index stocks also arguably was the most energetic of the three in terms of growth percentage, jumping by 0.64% to close at 14,478.33 basis points. That is it on midweek updates and business. Nyeri, you can take it from here. Meanwhile, it's always a pleasure doing business with you.
Indeed. Many thanks, Benny. Now, the federal government is strengthening licensing integrity, formalizing artisanal mining and monitoring production and exports of high-value minerals across the country amid smuggling and increased reports of illicit financial flows through mining activities across Nigeria. The Minister of Solid Minerals, Dele Alake, said this at the public presentation of research report on addressing enablers of illicit financial flows in Nigeria's solid minerals sector. Benny Adams reports.
Nigeria is endowed with more than 44 commercially viable minerals spread across the country. This means the sector holds immense promise for the Nigerian economy.
The African Union estimates that Nigeria accounts for 35% of all illicit flows from Africa. 93% of these flows occur through the extractive industry.
The cost is too high and the consequences is too severe.
However, speakers at this policy dialogue believe this promise remains severely undermined by illicit financial flows driven by illegal mining, regulatory challenges, corruption, opaque ownership structures, trade mispricing, smuggling, and a growing involvement of organized criminal networks, leading to loss of revenue for development, weakened institutions, environmental destruction, and in some cases, direct threats to national security. This is the Minister of Solid Minerals, Dele Alake, represented, says must end.
From your discussions here, we feed directly into the ongoing reform efforts aimed at building a mining sector that is transparent, competitive, and truly development-oriented.
The research report being unveiled contains an evidence-based, practical, and actionable policy recommendations. This is as stakeholders believe that evidence must inform policy, and policy must translate into action. At the end, ANEJ, NAITI, the EFCC, ICPC, and the Ministry of Justice, among other stakeholders, commit to sustain collective action to ensure that Nigerians' minerals wealth works for the benefit of all citizens. In Abuja, Benny Adams, NTA News.
Imagine starting a business today without a shop or much money. That is the reality of millions of Nigerians who drive the micro, small and medium enterprises. Maria Adozaka reports on the growth of commerce in Nigeria from the days of trade by barter to today's digital economy.
Once upon a time, buying and selling was purely a face-to-face business. But nowadays, technology has changed everything.
With wider internet access and the growing use of smartphones, commerce is taking a new direction. What started as a small hustle for many Nigerians has become a lifeline, reshaping how people earn a living, innovate, and survive online. In a country where capital is limited, e-commerce is breaking barriers, giving both buyers and sellers access that once seemed impossible.
When it comes to vendor authentication, every option is on the table. When the price is cheap, you would be able to know logically that this is potential scammer, or you could maybe ask for a video call to see the product.
Sometimes they feel I'm scam, because I don't show my face, I only show my brand, what I do, and at the beginning, I don't show the process of baking, I only show the outcome, but I realized I have to take my audience through the baking process.
Sellers in Nigeria are looking for opportunities, platforms that would allow them to sell their products with trust, with confidence.
Online trade now cuts across salary earners looking for extra income and young people without formal employment, turning mobile phones into shops. On the other side, consumers are choosing comfort and convenience over crowded markets.
When my darling wife was celebrating her birthday, I searched on Instagram, checked on the vendors, picked one, ordered within a very specific period of time. I ordered and it came without disappointment.
Data from Statista projects Nigeria's e-commerce sector will grow at an annual rate of 7.81% between 2025 and 2029, with revenues expected to reach nearly $10 billion by 2029. The shift is not new. As far back as 2020, about 80 million Nigerians were already shopping online, a clear signal that commerce was going digital.
ICT and e-commerce, they are contributing a lot to the economy, GDP. So government needs to develop a way of tracking all the transactions that are going through that area, e-commerce, to ensure that taxes are paid by every single person that is in e-commerce business.
Despite challenges, Millions of Nigerians continue to build livelihoods online, proving that the story of commerce from barter trade to broadband is far from over. Maria Adu-Zakari, NTA News.
Many thanks, Maria. Where do you prefer to shop? Let's head to the National Assembly now, as the Senate this evening passed the Electoral Acts Amendment Bill 2026 with a proposal of 5 million naira fine for electoral offences like vote buying. It also adopted both manual and electronic means for transmission of election results. National Assembly correspondent Lamiali feeds us.
We do it painstakingly, taking our time to ensure that what comes out reflects the yearnings and aspirations of all Nigerians. And also to be sure that the next election, all questions connected with the next election will be answered by the amendments.
It took the Senate more than 8 hours of closed session and 4 hours for clause-by-clause consideration to pass the Electoral Act Amendments Bill 2026.
The party who alleges non-compliance with the provisions of this act in conduct of elections shall co-order evidence.
Judges are saying that we are not going to speak to your documents or go through and do extra work. If you come up with documents, come and tender them and prove them.
The bill seeks to enhance credibility of elections in Nigeria and ensure that stakeholders are held accountable. In the amended document, the permanent voter card remains the means of voter identification, as Senate rejects the downloadable voter card with unique QR code. Though the Senate endorsed increasing electoral offences-related fine from 500,000 naira to 5 million naira, it jettisoned the imposition of a proposed 10-year ban from contesting election on anyone found guilty in this regard. Senate supported both manual and electronic transmission of election results. In view of some disparities in the legislation passed by the Senate and House of Representatives, the Red Chamber has constituted its conference committee with the Chief Whip, Senator Mohammed Tahir Mungunu, as chairman for harmonization. Senate had, at the commencement of plenary, condemned recent security breach in Katsina State, which left scores dead, including some personnel of the Nigeria Police Force.
The criminals continue to exploit forest corridors. People are unable to engage in their agricultural activity and therefore negatively impacting food security of the country.
Face them squarely. While we commend the military, we should also, all hands should be on deck.
The sheer determination shown by the bandits indicate that we need to add more force. We need to bring more technology.
It commended President Bola Tinubu and security agencies for prompt intervention. Senate also held a valedictory to honor late Senator Okechukwu Ezia.
Offer prayers for the repose of the soul of late distinguished Senator Okechukwu Ezia.
Plenary has been adjourned to Tuesday, 24th February 2026. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Let's remain in the National Assembly, but turn our attention to the Green Chamber, where investigation has commenced into the concession of all federal air and seaport terminals, as well as other related shipping activities carried out between 2006 and 2025. National Assembly correspondent Mutare Ikme reports that an ad hoc committee for the probe has invited relevant agencies and concessionaires to give account of their operations.
The federal government's decision to concession key national assets, including airports and seaports, was to modernize infrastructure and improve service delivery as well as revenue generation. Nearly 2 decades after the commencement of the concession arrangements, the House of Representatives says a comprehensive review of their outcomes is necessary, following complaints of operational challenges and systemic gaps within the concession framework.
We will also hear from the users of the system, labor unions, freight forwarders, airline, shipping operators, on operational realities and service outcomes. Independent experts, auditors will be invited to provide objective assessment of the economic and governance impact.
We envision ports that are efficient, corruption-free, digitally driven, investor-friendly, and capable of supporting Nigeria's ambition as West Africa's logistic and maritime hub.
Nigerians deserve to know whether these concessions have enhanced national competitiveness, protected public assets, and contributed meaningfully to the economic growth.
Agencies expected to appear before the House for the investigation include the Nigerian Ports Authority, concessionaires, Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, Nigeria Customs Service, the Bureau of Public Procurement, and the Nigeria Shippers Council. From the National Assembly, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
Another break beckons, please. The Federal Road Safety Corps has announced a 9.2% increase in total road traffic crashes between January and December 2025 compared to 2024. While addressing the media on Operation Zero Road Crashes between 15th December 2025 and 15th January 2026, the FRSC Corps Marshal Shehu Mohammed directed all commanding officers on the enforcement of zero tolerance on violations said to be responsible for 70% of fatal crashes in the country. Oyeyemi Ajayi has the details.
Between 15th December and 15th January the next year, annually, the Federal Road Safety Corps engages in Operation Zero Road Crashes in order to keep figures of accidents on the highways low, especially during Yuletide. However, 2025 isn't in any way different, as prompt monitoring was ensured. Now, presenting the outcome, the Corps Marshal reviews an increase of 3.4 total road traffic crash between 15th December 2025 and 15th January 2026 when compared to the previous year under review. Persons involved in road traffic crashes increased from 5,761 to 5,942, while fatalities rose from 571 to 597, representing a 4.2% increase.
Corridor-based analysis confirmed that crash concentration remains highest along national mobility corridors. In December 2025 alone, the FCT Metropolis Corridor recorded 97 crashes, followed by Zuba Kaduna Zaria with 86 crashes, and Lafia Akwanga Kefi Goshen with 80 crashes.
Between January and December 2025, statistics reveals 3.0% crash increase. 7.2% increase was as well recorded in persons injured. There was a reduction of 2.4% in the number of persons killed, and this was said to be due to the post-crash response of officers to the crash scene, which still remains at 5 minutes. Oyeyemi Ajayi.
Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu has reiterated commitments to building road infrastructure that unites Nigerians and grow the nation's economy. This is contained in a president's message presented by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume. Kenneth Nani reports.
FEMA maintains about 36,000 kilometers of federal roads, which is about 18% of Nigeria's total road network and bears about 90% of the country's traffic flow. At this summit, therefore, ideas are being put into perspective in repositioning FEMA in terms of funding, research, and improved technology, as well as to develop a credible data for reliable analysis and development impacts on road maintenance across the country.
Well-maintained roads simulate roads trade, unlock rural economies, attract investments, create jobs, and strengthen national cohesion.
In a message, President Tinubu reassures Nigerians that his administration will continue to prioritize citizens' welfare, realizable through improved road infrastructure projects across the country.
Road infrastructure is the backbone of Nigeria's socio-economic life. This is because roads connect our farms to markets, our cities and industries to supply chains, citizens to opportunities, and our commitment to one another.
Tackling road abuse is therefore essential to protecting public funds and ensuring lasting value for the Nigerian people.
Any material use must be tested. For the fact that a road that is mixed using a particular mix ratio in Sokoto is working, that does not mean that the same mix will work in the Rivers State.
The summit, amongst other issues, is also considering better ways of promoting innovation and also adopting a more climate-resilient designs, smart technologies, and maintenance methods that are sustainable and also applicable within the Nigerian road infrastructure network. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
Thanks, Kenneth. Water, you know, get enemy. I'm sure you know that song, right? Or teacher, no teach me nonsense. All right, well, if you're conversant with music, I cannot sing, but of course, I listen to good music, especially old school Afro beat. You'll definitely know whose words those are. But several years after making hits like those, Fela Anikulapo Kuti was honored by the Recording Academy of America with a Lifetime Grammy Achievement Award at the recently concluded 60th Grammy Awards ceremony. Daniel Aderiye in this report takes us back to life and sounds of Fela.
From a time before now, made anew each time its rhythm fills the room. While many at the time wondered where and how his dexterity and mastery of the music form came from, thus earning him the nickname Abamieda, which translates to strange being. He was simply known by many as Fela. Fela Anikulapo Kuti, almost 29 years later, and his name remains a beacon of inspiration to both the old and young alike. At a time when music was basically a hobby and a medium for socialization, Fela used his sound as a tool to fight social injustice and political oppression, particularly during the military junta.
In Africa, they tell us politics is a game.
En Afrique, on nous dit que la politique est un jeu.
For we youths, it is not a game, it's a reality of our lives.
But despite the fame and worldwide acclaim in his lifetime, many believe he wasn't celebrated enough, especially since he is credited with being the father of a major music genre, Afrobeats. In recent times, his memory has been dragged across social media by fans of new generation artists, questioning and comparing his influence with stars like Wizkid. So several years later, like the proverbial, a prophet is often never appreciated in his own land, the Recording Academy of America decided to honor the late legend with a Lifetime Achievement Award at the 60th Grammy Awards, while also inducting his hit track, Zombie, into the Grammy Hall of Fame.
Thank you for bringing our father here. It's so important for us. It's so important for Africa. It's so important for world peace and strong.
As it is often said, honor is given to whom it is due, and for Fela, his legacy is one that is worthy of honor, owing to the influence and impact his music played across the globe, even after his death.
Music is a spiritual thing. You don't play with music. If you play with music, you will die young. You see, because when the higher forces give you a gift of music, musicianship, it must be well used.
Fela is indeed the definition of a true legend. Now time for another break.
In Abuja, ahead of Saturday's crucial Under-20 Women's World Cup first leg qualifying encounter against the Falconets of Nigeria. The Falconets will be targeting victory over 2 legs, with the aggregate winner set to advance to the final qualifying round. The winner of the tie will face either Guinea-Bissau or Mali for a place in the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup in Poland later this year. To athletics now, as 32 Nigerian athletes, including 16 females and 60 males, will commence a 6-week campaign exercise in Asaba, the Delta State capital, as preparations intensify for the 2026 Commonwealth Games in Glasgow. The athletes drawn from track and field events, including sprints, relays, jumps and throws, arrived at the camp on Saturday for the first phase of the Athletics Federation of Nigeria build-up program. The Asaba camp is designed to fine-tune fitness levels, improve technical execution, and foster team cohesion ahead of international competition. The president of the Athletics Federation of Nigeria, Tonoba Kokowa, says the campaign will help identify athletes in peak condition while laying the foundation for strong preparation for the Games in Scotland. To tennis now, as Team Nigeria will take on Uzbekistan in the World Group 2 playoffs of the 2026 Davis Cup, scheduled for 7th to 8th of February at the historic Lagos Lawn Tennis Club. The event organized by the International Tennis Federation. And of course, the Nigerian team made up of Adeleye Daniel, Emmanuel Michael, Bulus Christopher, Abuat Kanis, and of course, Alafia Ajeni will compete in both the men's singles and doubles events as they seek a historic victory on home soil. Reacting to the development, President of the Nigeria Tennis Federation, Victor Che, expressed confidence in both the team's readiness and the country's capacity to host a successful tournament. He challenged the players to do the country proud by beating their opponents en route Group 1 World Qualifying round. And finally, let's update you that Manchester City have one foot in the Carabao Cup final as they look comfortable in their Carabao Cup semi-final second leg against Newcastle through Omar Mahmoush double and Tijani Rangers strike in the first half, which gave them a 3-0 first half lead. The match is now in its second half with the winner of the tie facing Arsenal in the final at Wembley. That does it on Sports Tonight. Let's return to here.
Well, thanks, Badi Adeleye, for the sports update. And here's a quick clarification. The DG of the BPE is Ayo Wile. Now, the Idahosa family of Iho in Wunde local government area of Edo State announced the passing of their son, brother, husband, father-in-law, and grandfather, Honorable Charles Iho Tome Idahosa. He was aged 72. Late Charles Iho Tome Idahosa was a member of the All Progressives Congress, APC, in Edo State and the country. He began his public service at the news department of the Nigerian Television Authority, then Nigerian Television Benin, in 1976, and capped his fruitful association with the organization as a member of the board of directors between 2003 and 2007. Burial arrangements, as announced by the family, indicates that Wednesday, 11 February 2026, there shall be service of songs followed by night of tributes at St. Peter's Anglican Church, 115 Lagos Street, Benin City, and Horatio Maki, Edo Hotel, Benin City. Friday, 6 February 2026, solemn night of tributes at the premises of the prestigious Benin Club, 1931, where he was a member. Thursday, 12 February 2026, funeral service by 9 a.m. at St. Peter's Anglican Church, 115 Lagos Street, Benin City, followed by interment at his residence. On Sunday, 15 February 2026, there shall be a Thanksgiving service by 9:30 a.m. at St. Peter's Anglican Church, 115 Lagos Street, Benin City. May his soul rest in perfect peace, as signed by his son, Uyi Charles Idahosa. And that's News Extra tonight. Many thanks for being a part of it. Let's do this again next Wednesday. I'm Ian Rejon. Have a good night.